Somewhere around week 4 of your ad campaign, leads turn to garbage. People who don't respond, numbers that don't pick up, people who say, we never submitted the form, and just pure unqualified leads. So you start blaming the agency, the platform, the market, or whatever is available. Hi, my name is Faizan Riaz and I'm the co-founder of Forward Digital Consultancy. Over the past 13 plus years, my team and I have worked with 300 plus businesses across 17 verticals and 5 regions, and we've helped our clients get millions of dollars in revenue just by keeping the digital marketing fundamentals right. So today, what we're going to talk about is why your leads turn to garbage and how can you rectify the situation, especially if you're using Meta ads. The first thing that you need to understand is why does this happen in the first place? See, Meta, Google, whatever platform you're running the campaigns on, they work on data. They're all AI driven. We made a previous video about this as well, of how AI is being integrated everywhere. But when it comes to lead gen, specifically for the service industry, the real estate market, for B2B, for IT companies, for tax consultants, for accounting firms, your lead quality keeps on deteriorating over time. This is not something that happens by chance. It's there by design. Why? Because it needs the right first-party data to ensure that you start getting and you keep on getting the right kind of leads, not just lead quantity. So when you don't have that data sync and you don't have that data layer going back to the platform, it just doesn't know who to show the ad to. Doesn't matter if you have a very tight sort of a targeting in place, doesn't matter if you have like crazy creatives or multiple strategies, hooks, whatever you intend to do. All of that would get you lead quantity, but your lead quality will keep on deteriorate. And this happens because of something that we call the loop. But before I dive into the loop, if you've run e-commerce campaigns or if you have friends who have e-commerce firms, they would probably say that this doesn't happen. When you keep on running a campaign quality keeps on improving. The cost per result goes down, the sales improve, the return on ad spend improves. But that's okay for the e-commerce industry, not for the services industry. Why? Because e-com works on a different level. On e-com, everything happens on the site and everything is tracked. From the person visiting the website, to opening a category page, to opening a product page, to adding it to cart, initiating checkout, adding payment method, and then finally going towards purchase. All of that happens on the website. And if you have Capri installed or Pixel installed on the website and you're tracking these events, these are all standard events that get sent back to Meta instantly or any other platform that you're working on. But when it comes to the service industry, things take a different turn. For that, you need to understand the loop itself. So, the loop, what is it? It's basically conversions API, but for the service industry. How does it work? Well, for a service industry, everything happens in your CRM. Everything happens offline. So this loop is basically a connection between everything that is happening offline with your ad account. How do you do this? You do this through your CRM. See, you have multiple stages that your lead goes through. They come in as a raw lead, they book an appointment, they show up to the appointment, you mark them as an MQL, a marketing qualified lead, you send them the proposal, and then you say, okay, now this is a sales qualified lead, and now they're in the negotiation stage, and now they've completed the process, and now they're a customer. So all of these stages, they never go back to Meta. They never go back to Google. So what happens is, the platform, it doesn't know what happened to it. So it starts looking at things from the lead perspective. It says, okay, this business is getting leads through everything that they're doing on their ad campaigns. But what happens to those leads never came back to it. So now it starts optimizing more on the lead quantity as opposed to the lead quality. So, and if you've run campaigns in the past, you would know this happening, this timeline going by every time. You start a campaign, you get a couple of leads, some of them are good, maybe 1 or 2 of them convert, but then as time passes by, your lead quality keeps going down, and in the end, 4 weeks later, you see something which is very different. So you start blaming the agency, saying, okay, now they're not as diligent as how they used to be when they were working on getting the account and the first few weeks. That's not the case. This is there by design. If you don't send that data back to the algorithm, it's going to be flying blind. So you're sending events back. It goes to the events manager. But there's an architecture, a ladder that you have to keep in place as well. Your value of someone who books an appointment is very different to someone who has just filled out a form. Your value of someone who has requested a quotation, who has gone forward towards the final stages, who has gone forward towards the final negotiation stages is very different to a raw form submitter. And that architecture needs to go back. In terms of the service industry, in terms of CRM events, you can have as many custom events as you want. Call it MQL, SQL, whatever fancy term you want to use. But the platform only recognizes a few standard events. And if you use those in addition to your custom events, along with creating a value for each event, you tell the platform, okay, this is what you know from your data set. You know that people who qualify as lead is basically the type of people that we're looking for, people who fill out the form. And people who go towards XYZ stage is what we're looking for. But at the same time, you keep on adding value to it. So for example, a lead as a raw lead would probably be worth 10 dirhams to you. But the next stage of them booking a meeting might be 50 dirhams for you. Them going to the MQL or the SQL stage would have a different value. Right until the point where they are about to close, their value is different. And once they close, this is the deal value basically. So if you're selling a service for 5,000 dirhams or 10,000 dirhams, that's the deal value that you're working with. And that ladder, that architecture is what you send back to Meta as a standard event, as a lead, right before the final one, which is basically the purchase. So now when you send the event to Meta, it knows, okay, these type of people marked as lead have this value as compared to these type of people marked as lead have this value. It starts focusing on the latter stages of the ladder of your pipeline as opposed to the initial stages, which is basically raw lead. If you have this architecture in place, if you have this event ladder in place, you start seeing an improvement in your ad campaigns and your overall results. So what do you need to actually accomplish this, to have this wired in together? The first thing is to have a CRM. There are a couple of other ways to do it as well, using a Google Sheet, etc., etc. But it's preferred that you use a CRM. If you're using HubSpot, Salesforce, it is available, I think, in the latter packages, not in the basic ones. They have a separate charge for it, if I'm not wrong. And otherwise, if they don't, you have to use an automation tool like Make.com or Zapier to have this all wired in and the loop created. Looking at everything and looking at this particular requirement, we created a CRM of our own that our clients currently use, and something that we use ourselves as well. It's called Lead Nudge. It has a native connector to Meta. It has a native connector to Google. It has the conversions API built in. You just need to put in your values, your details, and you're good to go. And over the past, I'd say 2-3 months that we've been using this platform and our clients have been using this platform, we've seen a really good improvement in the lead quality that they're getting. For example, in our case, we saw, if I'm not wrong, a 40% increase in the lead quality. In our real estate clients, we saw roughly 15 to 20%. In B2B clients that we have, we saw an increase of roughly 25 to 30% in the lead quality. So more meetings booked, more appointments taken, more people moving towards MQL, SQL, and ultimately more customers coming in. Typically, this entire process, after when you've implemented everything and data keeps on flowing between your CRM and your ad account, there's a 6-week duration of receiving continuous events and you changing stages in the CRM and updating it accordingly, that you start seeing an improvement in the lead quality. So it's not an immediate fix, it's not a magic bullet that you put in and start immediately improving results. It basically takes all that data into account, keeps on passing it back to the algo and starts improving your results. So it takes its due time, roughly 6 weeks or maybe more in some cases, depending on the ad account history and how much garbage data you already have in it. But it works. That's the closest thing that you have to improving your lead quality and to ensure that it keeps on improving as you move forward and as you start generating more quantity of leads. So there you have it. If you want to improve your lead quality, and you specifically if you're using Meta or Google, then have the conversions API wired in on Meta. On Google, it's called offline conversions. It has converted and qualified 2 parameters, but works the same way, similar way. Have this implemented and you'll start seeing improvement in your campaigns from 6 weeks after the deployment completes. Thank you.